During their first 5 years of life, children throughout the world have the same growth potential. The children of Guatemala do not have to be an exception. This is the story of a group of families that live in rural communities in Guatemala. The inhabitants of these communities work in similar activities. They have the same access to food and, like the great majority of these communities, they share a long history of poverty. But there is something different about these families, something that may transform the life and the future of the communities. The difference is in the children and how they are growing. When children grow well, this means that their bodies, their brains, and all their organs are developing correctly. They are strong, healthy children. They are more capable. They learn more quickly. And they are more sociable. This development, which is so important, occurs during the first 2 years of the children's lives.
My older children are not like him. This one, he's very healthy, really smart. Yes, they are growing very well.
How do you know?
Because they have told me how much they weigh, they measure them, and they tell me they are growing well. They're very active also, very mischievous.
These families from the rural areas of Guatemala are achieving something that seemed impossible. They are defeating malnutrition. On the other hand, the children from other families are stunted, and they are probably chronically malnourished.
Here are two girls of the same age. They are both 4 years old. She has a very nice character. She smiles all the time. She loves to do things. She loves to play. The other one is a little annoyed. Sometimes when we tell her to do something, she does something else. She's very slow to learn things.
As well as slowing down the growth of children, chronic malnutrition affects the development of the brain and diminishes the intelligence. The most serious aspect is that once the child has reached the age of 2, the consequences and damage caused by malnutrition will affect them for the rest of their lives. When he or she grows, the malnourished child will be a less productive adult, with lower income, and the probabilities of being a poor adult will be greater. That is why, in order to reduce poverty in Guatemala, it is essential to reduce infantile chronic malnutrition. What have these families done to prevent malnutrition of their children? What have you done differently that you didn't do with your other children?
I planned this pregnancy. Then I came for my monthly checkups. And after he was born, I brought him every month also. I can see the results.
A lot of the progress achieved is due to these mothers coming to their prenatal controls and bringing their children under 2 promptly to their monthly weight and height monitoring.
Lo que yo les recomiendo, síguele dando pecho cada vez que
I attended prenatal control from 3 months of pregnancy, and it is important because they tell you how the baby is growing inside and if it's growing well or not.
It is also due to the quality of the orientation that they receive from their health or community center. These families have learnt that it is fundamental to feed their babies only with mother's milk from birth until they are 6 months old. That from 6 months on they should begin to give them other food, and that it is better to prepare these from products of the zone they live in.
A man began to train us, and I was brave enough to ask the technician what would happen to my baby if I began to give him food. He was only 4 months old. He told me the baby's intestine was not prepared for that. So I told the other women what he had said. I myself got rid of the doubt.
They know that to avoid sickness, it is very important to wash one's hands before preparing food, as well as using boiled water. To watch the weight and height of children from the day they are born is fundamental. For this, medicine has established standards of growth that tell us if our children are growing in a healthy manner or not. Today we know that if our children measure less than 70 centimeters at the end of the first year and less than 80 centimeters at the end of the second year, they are probably chronically malnourished. Neither race nor origin has anything to do with the child's height at this age. Let's see how the children of these families are growing. Pamela reached 81 centimeters at the age of 2. Evelyn is 2 and measures 83 centimeters. Osman is 2 years old and measures 83 centimeters also. These children are growing very well. They are healthy and they are very happy, active and intelligent. On the other hand, the growth of the children from the other families is not normal. They are stunted. Jose Francisco is 2 years old and only measures 73 centimeters. Erica, at 2, measures 72 centimeters. Rodman is 5 and only measures 82 centimeters. In other words, the height of a 2-year-old child. They are all well below the minimum expected height. What this means is that the probabilities of suffering learning and health problems for the rest of their lives is greater. This is the reality for tens of thousands of children throughout Guatemala, where 1 in every 2 children is chronically malnourished. Rodman understands well. His weight is normal. He eats well, plays football and plays with his brothers. The most critical aspect of the problem is that the parents of children who are not growing don't realize this. If they don't know that the problem exists, it's impossible for them to correct it. What have they told you?
That she has to eat?
Do you know what malnutrition is?
No.
No.
It is a shared responsibility. If the families don't know what is happening with their children, this means that their health center is not providing an adequate growth monitoring service. Parents have a right to demand a quality health service.
I have the responsibility as a mother to control my child, to know whether he is growing or if he's not growing. We may lose a little time, but we do it for the good of our children.
Remember, during the first 2 years of a child's life is when the most important development of his capacities occurs. This stage of a child's life is unique and cannot be repeated. Do not neglect it.
Whether it be in the city or in the countryside, if the child is healthy, the reaction will be the same. The child plays. If the child is studying, the results will be better. There are no limits for the child, from there or from here.
The experience of these families shows that chronic malnutrition can be prevented in the rural and poor areas of Guatemala.
When they are grown up, I want them to study and graduate from the university.
Do you think that that is possible?
I do.
What would you like him to be?
A teacher.
Do you think he will become one?
I have faith and believe that he will.
Each pound and each centimeter are important in the first 2 years of the lives of all children. These families have learnt the value of growing well, and thanks to this, they are getting their children to develop to the maximum of their capacities, preparing the road for them to become productive adults with better opportunities in life. And you, do you know how your children are growing?